Hello and welcome to your in-depth monthly horoscope for May for the Sun or the Ascendant. If you've yet to subscribe to my channel, I'd be honoured if you did so now. Please click or tap on the bell notification symbol. Also, if you'd like to have a one-to-one consultation with me, please see the link below and you can check out my testimonials. If you'd like to ascend above the Zodiac sign astrology and embrace a more serious understanding, you can do so in a very affordable way and check out my special offer for a 12-month forecast character analysis combination, 30% off based on your time, date and place of birth. No two reports are the same, and this will give you searing insights of the opportunities ahead for you and also a much greater understanding of what makes you tick. Hello Libra and welcome to your in-depth monthly horoscope for May. As this month begins, the Sun, Mercury, the planet of communication, Venus, your ruler, and also Uranus, the planet of dramatic change, are all collected together in the 8th house of your situation. The 8th house is rather scorpionic. It's very much about wanting to test ourselves out against some kind of challenge, but transforming ourselves in the process. So it can point towards radical changes. In a more prosaic sense, it's to do with how we marshal our long-term finances. So if you're interested in business, being more entrepreneurial in your approach or enterprising with your longer-term resources, whether it's shares, pensions, investments, any kind of longer-term savings, and those that you're sharing with somebody else, this can be a key time. But in the first 3 days, the Sun is combining with Uranus. Uranus likes to dazzle us with very speedy development. So something could come to pass, some knowledge. Uranus is the planet of truth, can give you a deeper perspective or understanding of something which up until now may have been a bit hidden or unclear to you. And this could be a eureka moment and enables you to adapt and flex quickly to your advantage. But equally, this opportunity could fly past in the blink of an eye, so you do need to be alert to it. There could be someone who shows quite a charismatic, even sexual energy towards you at the very start of this month, and you may be drawn towards them like a moth to a flame. And this could be a relationship, even if it's quite fleeting, that certainly makes your pulse race, because it can give you a sense of drama and excitement which you may have been craving for. But also Mercury is combining with Pluto, the higher octave modern ruler of Scorpio, in your sector of the home, emotion and family. So something can realign around where you live, and it could be a very positive development for you, because when Mercury and Pluto are in a trine, your natural ability to analyse, which is often very strong, is really enhanced, and this can help you to really penetrate down into a matter in a very pointed but also very clarifying way. But also from the 4th through till the 8th, Venus, your ruler, is forging a terrific angle with Pluto too. And Venus in the sign of Taurus can be about physical property, it can be about money, but it can be about possessions. So if you're thinking about buying some furnishings or thinking of redecorating or investing money to beautify a home, even if it's the physical structure, like putting in more light to drape your living space in a much more illuminating and therefore comfortable way, this would be a fine thing to do. But of course Venus can be about relating when it's linked to your sign, so the link between Venus and Pluto can make you very appreciative of the closeness of certain associations. But then on the 4th, Mercury makes its way into your sister air sign of Gemini, which creates a real change of atmosphere, because Mercury is how we think, how we communicate, articulate our ideas. The 8th house is to do with secrets, transformations, can give us an interest in more mystical topics, the ninth house is much more open. It's about philosophy, but principally about travel. And if you can find yourself jetting off to somewhere different this month, or even going further afield where you live, it will refresh you in a very positive way. Now that may seem like an obvious thing to say after the COVID lockdown, but I would be saying this to you with or without that anyway. So Mercury moving into the ninth house is about knowledge. The ninth house is about how we inform ourselves of higher ideals. But the sign of Gemini means that that knowledge can be presented quite quickly in text messages, emails. You can read an article on a blog which informs you. Energy's moving quickly. It's exciting. But then Venus joins up with Mercury, your ruler, on the ninth. Now Venus moving into the ninth house is the truth seeker. If there is a conversation you need to have in a close relationship, perhaps this is coming about because of the connection between Venus and Pluto, seeing you think very deeply about what you want, and you may feel that you then need to communicate the understandings that you've gained with someone that is important to you. So some kind of clearing of the air is possible. If you're single, you could be attracted to someone from a completely different background between now and the rest of this month. Now the 11th sees the new moon in the sign of Taurus, so it's a chance to do well with those business affairs or those joint alliances that come from the 8th house, and not least because Neptune's involved in this, and Neptune has seen you very sacrificing over the last 8 or 9 years, particularly at work. And I think this angle suggests that where you're involved in a situation where you can use your imagination, but also your business guile, if you can blend the two together, you could do really well over the following 4 weeks. The 13th, however, sees Jupiter move out of your sister air sign of Aquarius, which is your 5th house of joys, and into that aforementioned 6th house where Neptune's been since 2012. But Jupiter, like Neptune, is the co-regent of Pisces, so really likes being in Pisces. So I feel between now and the 2nd of July, you could have some good fortune when it comes to a job application. You can also feel stronger in your health. You can feel like you're more fortified. It is true that Jupiter will go into a retrograde on the 20th of June, but what I would say is really embrace its energy in the here and now. And because Jupiter is about knowledge, are there new ways that you can exercise or organize your life to your advantage? So a good time to check out information that can help you to become more informed. The 15th, however, sees Mercury go into a shadow period. Now, a shadow is the point where the retrograde, which begins on the 29th, sees Mercury get back to. So in June, it gets back to 16 degrees in the sign of Gemini. So on the 15th of the month, we're at 16 degrees, stationed at 16 degrees. So things can start to slow down if you're trying to open up your world. But you do have a terrific angle between Mercury and Saturn in the 5 days before the shadow period begins. So from the 10th to the 15th is a good time to write that down in your diary, to take action around something that requires planning but enterprise. You can do well. From the 17th to the 19th, Venus forges a good link with Saturn. I think it's possible, if you do have a heart-to-heart with someone, that whatever is agreed can be lasting. It can have a degree of stability to it, which is welcome. However, in week 3, the Sun also forges a really helpful angle to Pluto. So if there is something you're physically changing in your world about where you live, or how you live there and who with, or there's something changing deep within you in a more psychological sense, that's a key time. But from the 18th to the 24th, Jupiter's squaring up with the Sun. One of the things that is important with that aspect, it's a very generous aspect, and it may see you offering your services, your help freely, which is really admirable. But remember, Jupiter is in the 6th house, and that's about obligations. So the enthusiasm of Jupiter can trip you up a little bit to promise something that actually could have an impact on your personal freedom. So just be conscious of that. On the 23rd, however, once the Sun moves on the 20th into Gemini, joining up with the North Node and with Mercury and Venus, so more push towards widening your horizons. But on the 23rd, Saturn goes into a retrograde. Saturn retrograde in the 5th solar house is about as tricky as it gets, to be honest. Does it mean that your love life is going to fail in the next 5 months or so? No, but it does mean that you're going to have to take your talents and any area of life that does bring you pleasure very seriously, and you're going to have to work hard and be very productive. Now, on the 26th, we have a full moon in Sagittarius, which is about the everyday communicational side of your situation. And that could see you have a conversation with someone over the following 2 weeks where there's a bit of a clash of ideals. Perhaps you want to shake up your life radically, they want to keep it exactly as it is. Now, I'm overemphasizing the point to make a point, but some kind of resistance to your desire to bring more variety and spontaneity to your situation is possible. But on the 29th, Mercury then does go retrograde. So if you are physically traveling from that point, you will need to make sure that every part of the itinerary that you can personally control, you do so in a very precise way. Now, obviously, what happens with air traffic controllers, volcanic ash eruptions, docks closing down due to industrial disputes, all the kind of stuff that generally happens with Mercury in retrograde, but we're talking in the sign of Gemini, we're talking about technology, I think. So anything to do with technology, tickets, passports, other kind of official paperwork will need real scrutinization as this month draws to a close.